Okay, one more final video for my family. This Johnny Travelog, I've just been documenting my life and been letting some people go, a lot of people go, trying to have honest conversations, that whole thing, that, bringing peace, not pieces, and what the hell does that mean? You have to go back and look at some of my videos where, my family or I really in this journey, this has been a journey on many fronts. It's been obviously um, obviously I've launched this YouTube channel um, during the season, and then I've also have I've gone through this as a father, as a father to two kids, and that's I've kind of become an accidental MRA, and I've also I've come at this economically, where uh, you know I um, where I ran a company for 10 years, and to kind of see it regulated out of business to the point where, like, now I'm shining up resumes. And, you know, whoever you are finding this video, um, you're going to perceive it from your own lens. Um, and even on this side, I've gone through, like for example, let me just tell you kind of a personal story, because this video is about family, and that's one of the hardest fronts that I've fought this battle with. Like, I'll talk a lot about 2503 and federally protected statuses, and we need to make sure that men get equality in civil trials, and I'm not kidding. And and I'll throw all kinds of examples like Paul McCartney, and like literally Heather Mills, and it's not hard for me to talk about that, because that sort of launched this YouTube channel, and then even launched Jonathan Fibonojji. But I've also taken this journey, um, as a man, as a single man. I've taken it as, what is it like for, for example, very few people will know what it feels like to just, get a summons to, in fact, I came back from vacation. I'm going to put you kind of in the driver's seat a little bit. So you kind of understand where the passion comes from, and where I think I had come back from vacation. I was making about $200,000 a year with my company. I wasn't happy living in Lubbock, but I was there for my kids, and I was trying to date as much as I could. And it's hard to date in Lubbock to begin with. I mean, I think that there's literally a bar there that's called Chances Are. Like, chances are you're going to probably marry an alcoholic if you continue dating people in Lubbock. So there I am. I was probably 38, 30, blah blah blah. And I'm just giving you some details, because I want to kind of reach out to my other brother, Detailed Dave. And Dave, give you some details about Dave, and trying to blend some of these stories so you kind of understand is, a lot of my first viewers were my family, and those are the people that kind of trying to figure out, who's Fibonacci? What the fuck is Fibonacci? Was he doing like that trading retracement thing where he was studying Fibonacci retracements, and just so happened he became Fibonacci? And I get it. Okay, boom. So those are the details. And then in this Johnny Travelog, this Fibonacci, I've had to really come to grips with my own family in ways that I've never have before. And while I love to have fun, and there's all kinds of things that I could talk about, and in different places I've gone, and how much I love to travel, and how much and I do. And that's one thing that's one of the good things that came out of #MRA is it pushed me to the brink of suicide so many times that I just literally lived the bucket list, because I just wasn't sure, how I was going to make it. I mean, there's not that many people that are homeless on the PCH making YouTube videos. There just aren't. And the fact that after my family was kind of taken from me, then my business was taken from me, and then I had to kind of fall into the structure of my own family, and ask for money, and sometimes, like, several times, and I'll never forget the time that I called my mom, and I had finally found a YMCA to shower at. And I called it, and I was literally just like join me in prayer. Thank you, God. I finally found an affordable place to shower and bathe. And and then my mom was watching Fallon, and she just was listening to me, and I remember thinking, like, this is a holy moment. Like, I'm literally out loud praising God Almighty that I found a place to shower. And my mom's watching Fallon, and we ended up getting to a fight because I made a comparison between Fallujah and Fallon, because I remember I went to a 12-step meeting and I heard a guy, and a guy was speaking, and I don't think he was an alcoholic, but he was ex-military, and he had obviously seen battle, and he had come back, and then he couldn't normalize into the regular American dream because he had experienced Fallujah or wherever he was at, and I guess I must have channeled that metaphor from that guy, because I was talking to my mom, and I'm like, literally, Mom, I'm living in Fallujah, and you're caught up with Fallon. And she kind of gave me one of those, like, and then even a Christian brother, and I mean Christian in quotes, a really good buddy, I finally broke down and I asked him for money, and I remember just, this is a guy, saw, I think I was even in his wedding, and I said, dude, I really, I need some help. And then he reluctantly gave me $100, and then I found like one of those like hotels that you can, really inexpensive hotels, and I asked him, I said, could you just buy me a night in this hotel? And I remember he said, no, I can't do that, and that would have cost him like $80, and I remember thinking, wow, I never thought my own, wow. And so this journey has been a journey of relationships. I talk a lot about, in this channel, I'm going to start talking about money, sex, and relationships as kind of a theme, because I think those are the areas that I find most interesting, but also I think there's a lot that I can contribute: money, sex, and relationships. And with relationships, man, there's nothing that will really show you your relationships except to be a white single man in a civil case without 2503 ever being enforced, having to fall into a Christian broken home structure. And then the homelessness that ensues, and you would be amazed how you see the world differently from that perspective. And some of that sounds crazy, it does, except I lived it, and I've also I've experienced some epic too, and there's been, I've seen literal demons, and I've seen literal angels, and anyway. So I think I said I was going to send this to family. Made kind of a funny video about Bart the Fart. Show you this right here. I guess this will be kind of an inside family joke. Is I can send this to my cousin David, say, David, I'm surrounded by Vikings, and then he'd think I'm going crazy, and then I would send him a picture of that, and then I could say, I could send a picture to my mom, and then she would just kind of Google where I was at. I think she would spend more time researching and documenting where I was than to say, well, John, where did you have a hotel last night? Did you sleep in your truck again? Or I could send this to, Russell, and I'd say, Russell, look, dude, free parking, 72-hour limit, dude. And I say that because my brother had to pay $1,000 to UCLA to unboot my truck, because one of the places that I was homeless at was in LA. So I slept in my truck, and I wanted to go to the Comedy Store. I didn't want to pay for parking, so I was going to park where I used to teach, and then walk down to the Comedy Store, kind of, get my nectar, and then they booted my fucking truck, So, and because I taught there, I had so many speeding tickets. I had $1,000, so he had a fucking, and then my brother Russ, he came to my aid, and he helped me, and then he gave me one of those Christian lectures, and I'm like, it was really hurtful the other day, because he's he's ex-military, so I've sent several texts to him and joking, and I've said, Benghazi, because my brother's name's Ben, and like one time Ben went through a divorce and the whole family wrapped his fucking ass up and gave him a job, a house, a place to stay. I mean, literally wrapped him up. And so my name's Jonathan, but people call me John. And I said, yeah, John Gonzi, and nobody thinks that's LOL. They just call me names and they judge me. And then I finally reached out to my ex-wife's family and Fred, and I finally said, hey, Right Said Fred, dude, I mean, your family really, really caused some major damage to my family. And, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. And so I reached out to him for help, and he just called me crazy. And he said, well, why am I, this is what Fred said to me. He goes, Fred said to me, he goes, why are you calling me? I'm like, well, because number one, you violated 2503. So did your daughter, played, concealment. And that's actually kidnapping on the felony level. That's a whole different thing. I'm calling you because you can help me and you have helped me. And then I said, well, the reason why I didn't call Don was because he didn't even go to his own daughter's wedding. Because, Fred is, Right Said Fred, and there's Gail. And then Gail really played a big role in a lot of the deceit and allegation. So obviously I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go to a man who didn't go to his own daughter's wedding. And then Fred has daughters. I'm like, dude, on one level, you can call me anything you want. But when I call you for help and I say I'm homeless, and your family was a part of why that happened, then you need to holla and call me. And I was really serious when I said I needed help. So Fred, help me out, dude. You can call me any name you want. And there's a reason why I reached out to you. And the real reason is because in the Bible it says, to whom much is given, much is required. I'm asking, you care a lot about your family, Fred, but I care about mine too. And the problem with Right Said Fred and Muleshoe is he doesn't understand that people are as important as he is. See, he's trying to protect his family, and I was trying to protect mine. My family is J-Bug, K-Bug, Jordan and Caitlin. And the problem with not just Muleshoe as a metaphor, but also the legal system is people do not value fathers, and they don't think fathers have families. They think fathers are paychecks. The fathers make up families, and I don't have a family with a wife or an ex-wife, or excuse me, I don't have a family where I have a wife or a girlfriend, but I'm a single father with 2 children, and that's a family. And if you disagree, fuck you, and that's a federally protected status. So call me any name you want, but you said you would call me, and I'm holding you to your word. And so, David, by the way, there's a giant Viking in front of me. Those are details.